What is your opinion on leaving behind a financial legacy? Have you always thought about maybe leaving money behind to your kids or your grandkids? Or have you been more focused on your potential lifestyle in retirement? In this video, you're going to get a short intro to estate planning. Hi everyone, it's Logan Sadler. Thank you for stopping by the Financial Beat YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to cover a very small introductory to estate planning. Some of you guys that are getting ready to retire or maybe just retired, this is a great video for you guys. If you haven't thought about the estate plan, it's one of the most important parts of any good financial retirement plan is making sure you have that estate plan covered. For those of you that don't know, there's many confusing things out there as far as trust or wills or beneficiaries on your accounts like IRAs and brokerage accounts. There's a lot of different ways to do estate planning, and there's a right way and a wrong way in some cases to make sure it's done correctly. As I mentioned in the intro there is many different ways people plan to leave a legacy plan. Some people do plan to say, you know, me and my wife, we've worked 20 or 30 or 40 years to save up a good nest egg. We might not need all of it in retirement, and I would like to leave something to my kids or my grandkids. There is better ways to leave behind the legacy plan in that realm if that's one of your concerns. There is also another majority of you watching the video that really in the legacy plan or leaving money to your kids probably wasn't on your highest priority of retirement. It might be you guys enjoying it, going golfing, traveling, and spending a lot of time enjoying your lifestyle that you want to live in retirement. Again, there's no wrong way to do that, but you really need to identify which one of those routes you're going to take, because that has an overall impact on what type of investment recommendations or what type of income predictions and all that stuff that's factored in to your financial plan. One thing I've found being in the business for a while and dealing with a lot of different clients like yourselves watching this video, where we do make that transition into retirement, and legacy planning is one of those things with estate planning where sometimes it takes a back seat. Some of you guys might be more interested in what cool stocks out there, or what ETF or are annuities good or bad, all the other stuff that goes along with retirement. Sometimes we miss out on the estate plan, and to be honest with you, it could be one of the most crucial components of a good retirement plan. The estate plan is something where there's a lot of different ways to go. I have seen tons of mistakes throughout the years where, let's say you are one of those clients that does have a good net worth, you put away a good hunk of money, and we have, IRAs, 401ks, brokerage accounts, annuities, life insurance, Social Security, you have all these different asset classes and account types. And a lot of you guys might have in your head, you know what, my kids have always been very good to me, I would like to leave them something. I have, let's say, $1 million in a brokerage account, I have some life insurance. But some of you might think, well, I'm going to leave behind my IRA to my kids. I probably won't touch that as much. I'll leave that to the kids. Well, that's actually might be the wrong thinking, because there is different account types like IRAs, 401ks, Roth IRAs, life insurance, all these other different categories, real estate, that all pass on differently. So it's really important when you're deciding that estate plan to look at those different types of categories as far as taxes and how they pass on to that next generation, or sometimes two generations, what the most beneficial one of those is tax-wise, as well as just from an overall planning aspect. Again, I've seen several mistakes throughout the years where just small incremental changes can make a huge difference and sometimes potentially save thousands on taxes. The other one I've seen is not having a proper trust or a will. I always love to give disclosures in these videos. I'm not an attorney. I don't draft wills or trusts, but we do work very closely with a group of attorneys in the area that do that, because it's so important to have the proper will or trust in your retirement plan. So many of you out there don't know the difference between a will or a trust. Even if you have a lot of assets, you might not have narrowed down which one's right for you. It's important you speak to an attorney and make sure you get all of your legal and back end set up. Inside the trust, there's so many different ways to leave assets. I was helping a client just a few weeks ago. He's been with us for a long time, and we've been really trying to wrap up his estate plan and get everything together, because again, it was one of his priorities to leave a legacy plan. Inside the trust, for those of you that have IRAs or 401ks, It doesn't necessarily all have to go to the trust. It depends on what your wishes are. But there's a lot of different ways to plan for estate and save sometimes potentially thousands of dollars in the long run by getting a proper will or trust set up depending on your situation. In a trust, you could put your house in there, you could put other assets in there, you can list the grandkids on there as they get a payout over so many years. I mean, you can get very specific in these trusts depending on your situation. And again, sometimes potentially save thousands and thousands of dollars on potential fees or probate, a lot of different categories like that. So making sure you have a really in-depth estate plan is one of the more crucial components to really making sure things are done correctly. Again, some of you guys retiring, we're meeting with lots of you. Some of you guys retiring have real estate, life insurance, you have some long-term care policies, maybe some brokerage accounts, IRAs. It's really, really important that we kind of sort through all of this. After we get that income plan, the full retirement plan, you also got to start factoring in the legacy and estate plan, okay? One of the biggest things I've always say is I have found it very beneficial, and I think our clients have as well, is not just having an estate planning attorney or not just having a financial advisor that can advise you on some things. I love it when we're able to get together with an estate planning attorney and our client and work on the same team, because there's a lot of times where I'll see something from a financial aspect that doesn't make sense or that I'm looking at this differently. And then same on the flip side, there's a lot of times where the attorney is saying from a legal standpoint, this makes the most sense. So we're able to really bounce those ideas off each other and really get extremely customized for the client and looking at both ends, not just from one end or the other. The third part of that, and we'll cover this in another video, is making sure you have a really good tax person to also wrap in the other side of that three-legged stool, we call it. But in this video, we're just talking about estate planning. So making sure that those attorneys and your financial planner can really have that relationship you need to make sure, again, all things are going on all fronts. Even if you're one of those people watching this video, that might be some of you, where you're saying, well, I don't really plan to leave a legacy. I saved $1 million for retirement. I plan on me and my wife enjoying it, or me and my husband enjoying it. You still need to have some sort of legacy and estate plan in order, because even though you didn't really necessarily plan on leaving money to your kids, or a charity is another huge topic. We do a lot of charity planning with our clients. And one of the things is it might not be your optimal choice to leave money to your kids or your grandkids. But the sad truth of it is we never know what tomorrow is going to hold. So you want to make sure that we have set up a proper estate plan, because you might not have wanted to go to them, but I know you didn't want to go back to Uncle Sam or to whoever you don't have a choice over, right? So it's really, really important to get that legacy plan or estate plan set up to make sure your assets are going to exactly who you want them to go to if the worst case were to happen. Again, we do have a lot of local partnerships, and if you're watching this, in other states, we do have a lot of partnerships where we're able to really work with our clients to bring on that client experience that's really important as far as making sure, again, financials, investments, all the other things that come along with investments and planning is done. Next part of that is estate planning as well as tax planning. Those three key areas are very, very important, and we believe in working with professionals on all three of those. So we covered a lot of information. Most importantly, I was actually having this conversation with a client today. One of the things I love about my job is being able to see, we call laying the groundwork. I actually had a couple in here today that we were talking with. Their parents came to us about 15 years ago. They've been clients of ours for about 15 years. They came in, like many of you, they came in their mid-60s or so, or getting ready to retire. We were able to do some very comprehensive investment planning and retirement planning. We also, as you mentioned in this video, right, over and over again, Logan, this is estate planning. So we actually were able to set up, after we got the retirement plan put together, we were actually able to implement the estate plan, lay the groundwork for, listen, what happens in 10 or 15 years if something were to happen to one of us? We would need to go into a home or assisted living or whatever that worst case example was. We were able to lay all that groundwork, get them with the attorney we work with, and get everything set up and properly done and executed. Now we're actually on the flip side of that. 15 years later, we are implementing the back end of that plan, where we're working with the kids right now as far as how to transition mom into a home. Dad passed away a few years ago, to really make sure that this plan is executing accordingly and everything is going exactly how the parents wanted it and executing it to a T. So it is really awesome as the financial advisor to really see all aspects of that and know that the client has been helped from A to B and is covered. So again, those of you out there getting ready to retire and you haven't called a financial advisor, give us a call. We'd love to sit down, talk with you. If you haven't got your estate planning in order, it's very, very important. I hope you enjoyed this short educational video on just, again, the basics of education for estate planning, and we look forward to seeing you next week. If you haven't yet, go ahead and click subscribe. We're actually doing videos like this each week on the Financial Beat YouTube channel, and I look forward to seeing all of you guys again next week with another video. See you guys soon. Thanks.